can we have a look towards this weekend's game? And
Yes,
Yep.
I think if I'll just jump through from Penrith. So they won the game.
Yep.
And the positives, I thought Burton, I think he made two really clutch bomb takes late in the game when he sort of had no right to. In traffic, he was constantly a menace. I think Burton stood up as a big match player. Cleary built a lot of pressure with the kicking game. And I think when they had that lead of 2, he was holding on to it. I think if they were pushed, if they were behind, they would have played a little bit more expansive. So I think Penrith, Cleary in particular, played what was in front of him, and credit to that, like he did get him home. I think with 20 to go, I started thinking, is this enough? And he, in his mind, thought it was. That's why they knocked a few shots of goal back. I think they didn't want the ball back in the half. They just wanted to keep the pressure on, and they just weren't able to score. I thought the middle was a bit of a worry. I thought Leota had a good game, but Fisher-Harris a bit below his best. I'm a bit worried about Kikau's impact in these big games. And I think it was a good win, and they're still a very good side. Melbourne fresh with the Fox back, and then, like I say, the mixture of pace, toughness in the middle, good bench, great coach. It all lines up for a Melbourne win for mine.
What's the best balance for the Panthers? Is it Kiko off the bench, Liam Martin starting, or is it the other way around?
I think Martin's a little bit. I want him starting, Martin, but I think he's well below the form he had at Origin time. I don't know what it is. He had a bit of a horror game in the first final, and he wasn't much better the other night. But Kikau was injured, but they gang tackled him at one point. He didn't want the ball after that, and I've seen that a few times this year. It was kind of left to Pangai Jr. and Leota to sort of hold up the middle. So I think that's the best mix, Paul, but they're just not playing with that punch they had. So that being said, it was a decent performance by Penrith, but with Melbourne, you've got such a form side, the Fox back, brilliant bench, and their big match team that always perform, and Craig Bellamy rarely lets you down. So I personally think it can only go one way this week.
Carl, the Storm are $1.31. Can you see the Panthers getting up again?
No, $1.33, I think, when I last checked. But no, they. I'm with Fisker here. I think this is going to be one-way traffic. I think the defensive effort from the Panthers and that game in general last week would have taken it out of them. Obviously, Melbourne get the rest. You see it in the stats that the teams that get the rest generally turn up to play the week of these prelim finals. So, I'm all over the Storm here this week.
Blake, can you give any sunshine to the Panthers supporters?
I can. I think it's, it would have taken a lot out of them, but personally, I think their window's closing. I know they've lost Burton, Capewell, who maybe a couple of others are leaving. Pangai won't be there next year, obviously. So I think that Ivan might get him up for this game. I still believe the Storm will win. I just think that the fight I think the winner of the GF comes from this game, and I think that the Panthers have got a hell of a lot on the line this week, because I think their error or their window's closing to win a title with this team that they've got put together at the moment. I think they're going to lose a lot after this year, so I think they'll come out very spirited performance. I think Melbourne by a field goal, maybe 1-12. I don't think it'll be that much. I think Penrith will fight right to the very end.
If we match the teams up on a piece of paper, how many of the Penrith side would you have ahead of their Storm counterparts?
Not too many, to be honest. But in saying that, I mean, it's a team performance, isn't it? Like I said all year, how I thought, Melbourne are the better team, the best team that we could have possibly ever seen, just not the best bunch of individuals. I don't know, man. I just get this funny feeling. It's semi-final. I think their window's closing. I just think that they're going to just put in a good performance. I just got a feeling, Paul. I got a feeling.
Fisky, there's no way. Surely, you.
No, there's always a way. There's always a way. Absolutely, like, they're still a good side. There's so many factors. I'm trying to think of a factor that has Penrith ahead. Melbourne seem to lead. They'll be fresher. They've got the wood on Penrith. A couple of Penrith's good players a bit out of touch or carrying injuries. There's so much against them. Cleary hasn't really performed well against these top coaches, all that type of stuff. But they still could do it. There's enough there. To answer your question, I think their edge forwards may be slightly better than Melbourne. Burton and To'o would be better than one each of the Melbourne wingers and centres. So there's a couple of areas where they're probably edge ahead, but just that double prong attack from the dummy half and then still keeping Brandon on the field while you get the young fella Harry on there. So I just think there's just too many subtleties in Melbourne's game and too many points.
Yep.
I guess what I'm trying to say. I think they'll work them in the middle, then they'll spread them wide, and then I think Pappenhausen gives so much more punch than Edwards does. Edwards was brave the other night, but he was beaten and battered by full time, whereas Pap was just going 100 miles an hour. So they can do it, but it's going to have to be a real low scorer.
I think
I
say just comparing the teams, like the run-on teams probably, as you say, Fisky, pretty close to cancelling each other out. You get, one here, one there either side. But for me, when you look at the bench, the Storm, the 4 players I've named, Grant, Kamikamitha, Asafa Solomona and Hines, they would get a start in any other team in the league. And up against the Panthers bench, which isn't a bad bench, but it's not a great bench. So that's where the X factor and the difference is for me that sees the Storm home here.
Yeah, like I said, I think the Storm win. They're in my bets this week. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a great game of footy. Like I said, the winner of the GF comes from this, I believe. So get your futures on now. Whoever you think will win this game, I reckon. You won't get much price, but get on them now.
Early kickoff too. How good.